So we thought today we'd do a little bit of an interview format. Me and Matt have known each other for a fair few years, so hopefully we can keep it pretty casual. I've written down some questions that I was interested to ask, but I want you just to stop me and ask whatever you're interested in as we go along. Let me read a little bit of the bio that I found on your Tinder page. I want to say you worked as a panel beater. I remember you were in that mechanic.
Yep.
Before coming to work with us as a personal trainer in Motorvale, quickly developed into one of the best trainers in the Northern Beaches. 2013, specialised in strength coach for runners, while also finding his own success in ultra marathons, podium finishes in the Buffalo Stampede and Ultra Trail Australia. Represented Australia in Sky Running World Championships. I put a photo in the group today. And posted a personal best marathon of 2 hours 48. 2017 became night head coach for Australia Oceania. They've now coached over 1,000 runners. I'm just putting your website and stuff on there. I noticed you've got a little wait list. Won the New South Wales Community Service Award. I've been in Men's Health magazine talking about running multiple times, and among other athletes has coached Nedd Brockman to run from Perth to Sydney. And this year, a couple of months ago, to run 1,000 miles in 2 weeks on a running track in Sydney. Massive bio. Any of that true? Welcome, mate.
Thank you.
First question for you. What are one or two of your favourite running events you've completed, and why?
Yeah, I guess first, thanks for having me down here, guys. It's great to be able to share my knowledge. And yeah, as Steve spoke about, I started with Steve back in Vision Motorvale 2008, 2009, I think, maybe around then. So I've been in the industry for a while, and yeah, under a great leadership first, which helped, I guess, mentor me into what I love doing. And from coming out of personal training, I wanted to focus on what I was excited about, and that was initially like strength and conditioning for runners, because I saw a lot of runners ran, but they got injured all the time. So initially started off in the strength and conditioning space, exactly what you guys are doing here, and then progressively moved to more online in about 2017, 2018, so pre-COVID. But yeah, I think like a big thing is with coaching is trying to find a niche where you can really specialize in and what you're passionate about, and just like lean into that as much as possible, because people will come to you for expert advice, and if you're a bit of a generalist, it's hard to kind of for people to understand exactly like what are you doing in this space. So yeah, I focused on running. But before I got into coaching, I knew I had to create a name for myself in the industry. And I kind of went all in for a few years in just running, trying to become a semi-professional, professional runner. So I had a brand name behind me. I had authority in the industry. So people then go, like, if he can do that, he knows how to do it and can get there. It's nothing kind of worse being, specialised in something that you've never been through that process. So a big part of that for me was, getting my name up in the industry by doing races throughout Australia, New Zealand, and across the world. And I think Stevie, mentored me in that capacity. We were just speaking about, he did a bodybuilding comp. You may not have seen photos of him back then.
Still the same.
It was like he was walking the talk in terms of, cutting weight, learning about the body and all that sort of stuff. So it's really important to kind of, find that niche, but then lean into that yourself as well and walk the talk. But yeah, going to the first question, favourite events. So it's a favourite event, and
so I know that last week you ran 107 kilometres, first in your age group, and Kosciusko, and 14 overall.
Yeah, so I did Australia Kosciusko. I haven't done 100k for over 8 years, and I wanted to go through that process again, like a client would go through, and go through the training. My life's a lot busier now, so understand what it feels like to go through that program. Being, having a bigger business and having more stress, but also going through the race itself as well and understanding like what that feels like. So yeah, I did ultra trail 107k. There's a weird race because on the weekend we had a 2-hour pause halfway because there was an electrical storm and there was hectic hail. So they actually stopped the race, which was a unique kind of experience. But it kind of, for me, training a lot of people who do like backyard ultras and run multi-day transcontinental kind of runs, is I learned that experience about, they pause for about half an hour, refeed, and I use that experience to go, okay, it's going to be probably about an hour, I thought at the time. I'm going to get as much food into me, as much hydration into me, and then we can go. But coming into that 50k checkpoint, I was actually like pretty done. I dropped some of my gels somewhere on the course in the first 50k, so I'm under fuel, and I was feeling pretty battered up. And I didn't know that it was going to be a pause, and I was like, fuck, I think I'm going to pull out at this checkpoint. Like I'm under fuel, it's going to be hard to come back. So when I found out that it was going to be a bit longer break, I go, okay, I'm going to be refueled. And actually, kind of the lesson I took out of that race was, I was thinking I'm down an hour, but I just had to shift the goalposts, and that can happen in a race as well. And that can happen, training for a certain goal is might have a deadline, but if something's preventing you from getting there, that was under fueling for me, is okay, we can just shift those goalposts and we can actually still achieve that goal. So big lesson for that one.
Do you have a favourite event in Australia or overseas?
Yeah, favourite event, you can't beat like racing in the European Alps. Like most races, especially the smaller races, are on a Friday, so all the schools get out on the side of the mountain. There's kids, there's just like different kind of mindset over there. Running's progressed a lot in Australia over the last 20 years, but when I first got into trail running, 2012, 2011, like running with a backpack, you were like, what the fuck is that guy doing in the bush? It's like kind of a bit weird, where over there it's the normality, and it's becoming that here, and people love getting out and cheering and having that atmosphere. So the atmosphere in the European Alps is something different. You're running up this steep mountain, there's just lines of people going up cheering you. It's kind of like Tour de France, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Beautiful. Most of the sessions that we're doing with clients are strength-based.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you've got like a handful of your favourite strength-based exercises for preparing someone for a running event.
Yeah, so strength training is really important for me to educate my clients in the importance of it. So strength training, you're going to, increase your performance, put more power through the ground, you're going to move better, you're going to reduce the risk of injury, and also you're going to delay time to fatigue. So there's a lot of benefits. It's just trying to educate runners in that, because they don't see the benefit in strength training. But once they go through the process, they really start to understand the power of strength training. Most things, I don't do, like any bodybuilder, like how much it probably takes to put on a gram of muscle, like a kilo of muscle. It's like it takes a lot of water to put on muscle. And 2 sessions isn't really going to put on much muscle mass, but it can actually improve your running quite dramatically. And so I do 2 sessions a week with all my clients, depending on where they sit in the program and who they are. One is an anterior chain focus, so like squats is like a big compound movement. Then we might go for like step ups, so some single leg exercises. And the second session is a posterior chain, so we do like hip thrusts, hamstring curls, deadlifts, and then some sort of single leg exercise for that. So usually a compound exercise, we do 2 or 3 single leg exercises. And then we couple that with some core exercises as well to make sure that whole pillar is nice and strong, because if you're not strong in that midsection, you're going to be start being like a bit of a slinky and lose a lot of energy and potentially get injuries down the chain. We do a little bit of upper body as well, not too much, but you're working a muscle sling. So when you're running, as this knee's driving up, this elbow's going backwards. So you think if you're working in a cross sling, what's happening to this shoulder, what's going down into that hip, So we're just trying to make sure that we're running really fluidly and having good upper body mobility. You see a lot of people, their upper body is shit when they're running, and if you're running like this, well, think about how your legs are running compared to if you're running nice and fluid through that upper body, how that's going to transition into the legs. So there's that, and then, you know, we'll put some plyometrics into their program depending on where they sit. Plyometrics is really important, like pogos, single leg pogos, bounds, box jumps, lateral pogos.
Is that because they're trail running and it's uneven and going up and down steps, or is that for
just everyone? Marathon runners.
runners?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to force to the ground. You got to be able to do that fast. So running's all about ground contact time. So the faster you can get that foot off the ground, the less time you're spending on the ground, the less energy you're going to be using. So the more that foot's on the ground, so you're just going to be using more energy. So it's about how quick you can get that foot off the ground and spend less time. So Pogo is really good because it just gets that ground reaction time off. So that's going to be like, it's really important. And
With their own training for a half or a full marathon or something, does it matter too much where in the week the strength session is in relation to maybe their long run for the week?
Yeah, so yes and no. I usually do like Monday, Wednesdays as strength days. So, and then like an easy run on Tuesday, harder run Wednesday, also Thursday, maybe a rest day Friday, and then we do our moderate longer runs on the weekend. Yeah, that's how it usually flows. Depending on the person, but if like lifestyle needs to change around that, shift workers, all that sort of jazz,
You got to make that clear.
around. Yeah. But probably the biggest exercise to do is calf raises. So I don't know if you've got a calf machine here, but bent leg and straight leg calf raises, they have to be in a weekly program. Like you have to have strong calves. Like, there's so much force going through that calf. 9 times your body weight every time you're hitting the ground, 7 to 9 times your body weight. So the stronger that calf muscle is, the less likely you're going to have a calf tear, or you're going to propel forward, and it's just going to help. So you got that raise up there, so you can just have a dumbbell in their hand, Smith machine. I don't know if you've got a Smith machine. A Smith machine, and then some bent legs. You can do them seated. Do it on the Smith machine. We can just do a standing bent leg calf raise off the step. Off the step is always good because you can get a little bit more straight through going with that deficit phase.
Any questions?
About anterior Tibialis, say like Tibialis, is that an important mechanism for running? My understanding is obviously important to get that leg created and get that top points and running, but for marathon, I'm sure it's important to
Yeah, definitely. So you're obviously going in dorsiflexion a lot, so that anterior Tibialis is getting worked quite a bit. I don't do too much with my general runners, but the further the distance goes, the more I start to add in tib work. So we might just start with, on a wall, just some basic tib raises, and then I'll get them to buy a tib bar. I've got Pete at the moment, he's day 6 running across Thailand, so he did a stack. I've got Caleb, he's just started yesterday running the length of New Zealand. And then I've got another guy that's going to run across Australia and potentially back next year. And we're doing a lot of tib work because that's probably the number one thing that goes on these really, really long runs.
Is that more like a strength based or just with lots of repetition?
Yeah, or strength base. Yeah, we just try and get that strength capacity up as much as possible. Yeah. So we'll start with lower reps and then go down and start to 15, 20 reps, and then we'll get down to some lower rep range as we get closer. Yeah.
And do they do shin splints if they don't do the tib raises, long ones?
Yes and no. That's generally running mechanics.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, depending on the client, if I've got someone that's training for a big event, someone like Nedd, I'll send them to the running room, there's one in Clavelli. They'll do a running analysis. Yeah. So then I know exactly like what's going on in the body. They've got force plates in the treadmill, 3D cameras, have good understand how the body's moving, how it's got hip drop, and then we can start addressing any biomechanical issues. If someone is having issues with their shins, I'll send them there anyway just to start getting like, what's their running form like first, what's their cadence like, can we improve that? Yeah, definitely, big time. So ideally they're doing 2 to 3 mobility sessions a week. 2 are generally like leg focused and 1 is upper body. Most like upper body sort of for like my office work, they're just sitting short phase, hip flexors short, hamstring short, chest is short, breathing capacity. Yeah, so it's got a big focus on that. And it's hard, like some will do it, some won't do it, but they'll understand the benefits. Yeah, when they do it. Otherwise, I end up creating a WhatsApp group for my online coach and online clients, which is just mobility focused, and they've got to put a tick in the WhatsApp group when they've completed it each week. There's 3 ticks they've got to put in, so it kind of keeps them accountable. It's online hard, and if they see, oh, fuck, someone else has done it, I'm going to do it. It just keeps that kind of accountability without me kind of honing in on them all the time. Yeah, so each week I'll put up a mobility session of the week, and then they just go through that in their own time. Yeah.
I have 2 questions. The first is about the movement of the exercise. How many kilometers a week should run on your bit of each competition or on show? Yeah.
How many Ks a week?
How many Ks a week?
Yeah, for an ultra?
Yeah, good question. So there's actually like, it can range quite a bit. It comes down to like training history, lifestyle, and the event that they're training for. You can put like 160k through someone a week, but that might overtrain them due to their lifestyle and work commitments. Like if I'm training a business owner that's got 3 kids, is stressed, like just pumping volume into them is just going to be counterproductive. So we start to go, okay, if we can do less better and more specific, we can get the far better outcome. So most of my runners will probably run around like 60 to 80k a week, depending on their lifestyle. And then I've got obviously like Nedd Brockman, he'll be running like 200k a week. But he's not like working and he's not like, we're doing double runs most days. He's got opportunities to recover more, fuel more, he sleeps, like he's got a sleep aid bed, he's getting 8 to 9 hours sleep a night, like that, we can pump volume through someone who's doing that. Doing 3 strength sessions a week, I know they're going to be nice and strong. Someone who's got kids that's sleeping 5 to 6 hours a week, a night, they're stress through business, they're probably going to miss their strength sessions just because they like just shit's happening. They only want to do their runs. So then, I'll drop their volume right down and go, okay, we've got to hit these sessions, and we've got to hit it well. We've got to fuel well for them, we've got to make sure we're hydrated and go, okay, these are our 2 key sessions for the week. I want you to be like performing your best at these. The other 2 are nice to have. To do them when you like pitch light and stuff like that. Yeah. The volume will vary a lot. Yeah. Going into Kosciusko, I had a bit of a disruptive training because I was on the track with Nedd for 12 days, and that was not far out, but I was probably peaked at about 130k a week. But my body's a bit different to someone who's like, I've been doing this for a long time, compared to someone who's like new to training for yeah. So it's just about trying to get as specific as possible. So if someone's training for like Ultra Trail Australia in the Blue Mountains, okay, we've got to get stairs, we've got to get hills, we've got to get elevation because that's more important, and then that can build up a total volume. Yeah.
What's your second question?
It's about the off-season. How long should be the off-season of one runner?
Yeah, it's a good question. it's hard here in Australia because we can run 12 months a year, and there's races 12 months a year. Europeans do it really well, so they run for like 6 months, and then they do like skimo and skiing, and they do other exercises for 6 months. But that's where I think Australians go a little bit wrong and don't have much time off. But basically, like, I would get an off season, so 100k, usually I'd say 1 day for every 10k you've raced, have off. And then we can start getting into some kind of more season-based training. So that's probably a bit more strength, a bit more cycling, a bit more like conditioning stuff, and keep the running pretty easy throughout that period. Yeah, so like you could do that for like a good 3 month block, most race. Yeah. Just focus on building that aerobic capacity and yeah.
Good questions. Just to circle back to mobility, what do you like to do? Exercise choice for lower body?
So, like, hips are probably the biggest one to get mobile. So, in terms of mobility exercises, or like the couch stretch. So, like leg up, knee on the ground, stretching out that hip flexor. Pigeon pose is always good. I like to keep them like dynamic, so trying to like do a little bit of static, but more like kind of moving through that motion. They're probably like my 2 go-to hip stretches, and then some spinal rotations. Just trying to get as much kind of movement through that spinal section. So like laying down, get maybe a little bit like spinal scorpion. That's it. Yeah, and then on the back as well. And then just trying to use weight as well to get through a mobility. So might be someone's got tight calves and shit hip mobility. So let's get a bit of a goblet squat happening where we're sitting in that bottom position and we're just trying to get that ankle. They'll squat down and they'll like bring their hips up straight, their heels up straight away. So it's like, how can we like use weight to sit in that position and hold that and try and get a bit more mobility through the front of the ankle, but also the hips as well. Yeah. So using weight, like the AGT split squat, so like foot up onto that raise there and some weight in the hands and just trying to get some good mobility through. Generally, we'll do that in a warm-up prep phase as well. We might do some dynamic mobility in the warm-up, go into our plyometrics, go into our main lift, go into 6 sets.
You got a favourite for like thoracic for the desk workers?
Yeah, it's usually getting the foam roller and just putting that in the mid back and just trying to open up as much as possible and putting a bit of weight, holding on to something into the hands. Otherwise, that spinal rotation where you're just going to get into that deltoid head, into that front section there. I think you've got some broomsticks here, I think sort of launches, some overhead kind of dislocations is always going to be good as well.
With the gel.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
It's good.
Do you have a focus on some drop 10 kilos if you're chasing the time in front? Say,
Is there ever a focus on weight loss to get a good time?
No.
just get faster.
Yeah. Well, like you're going to potentially drop weight, but it's a risk. Like I go, okay, we might be a bit strategic in runs where we will focus on running faster, so there's a potential there to drop weight. So generally our easy runs or our long runs that are under 90 minutes, we go, okay, we're going to do this faster, so I want you to have like a more protein-based dinner. You're just going to fast overnight, run that run with nothing beforehand, so it's going to potentially tap into more fat as fuel, and your calories is obviously going to be a bit of a deficit. But for your harder training sessions and anything longer than 90 minutes, you need to start to fuel performance. So yeah. And it comes down to those, but a lot of my clients that are fixated on trying to drop weight, I'm trying to understand like their psychological like aspect of why they want to do that. And generally speaking, they start to underperform when they drop. They're underfueling. You need carbohydrates to run fast. So you need that system, glycogen, and their recovery then is compromised, so then they're tired for the rest of the day, and then they don't perform the next week, and then just kind of like, yeah, so depending on how much weight they need to lose, like if they need to lose quite a bit, I'll be like, okay, we need to focus on cleaning up the diet first. Yeah.
You kind of emphasize that in the off season.
Yeah.
As well, in the training season, it's like you feel.
We got to feel well. Yeah, feel performance.
In one of the race, how many grams of carbohydrates is put per hour?
Yeah, so good question. So it depends on how long.
For example,
Yeah.
more than 5-6 hours.
5 or 6 hours, or we should be over like 50 grams. Like, yeah, 50. Depends on how much you can like absorb without
You gotta practice that.
You gotta practice it. Yeah, so
50 grams per hour.
minimum. Yeah. So most gels have like 25-30 grams of carbohydrates. So for Sydney Marathon, I was having a gel every half hour, 30-gram gel, so 60 grams of carbohydrates.
This is, for example, one race of 10 hours or more.
Yep.
The recommendations can go to 90 grams.
Longer ones, we start to drop it down a little less. Yeah. You're using less energy and starting to use more fat as fuel as well. Yeah.
That's good. Jasper?
I was just going to ask, like, what do you think about, like the psychological part of that kind of ultra marathon space? Do you think, like, you need to be a certain kind of sort of mentality to have that sort of, I'm going to run this far? Because I know a lot of people just hear it and are just like, why would I want to do, like, 150K?
Yeah, so a lot of it comes down to like their why, like why are they doing this and why have they picked this race? Because during an ultra running, shit's gonna get hard at some point. Like it's not gonna feel amazing, and it's how you react and deal with that hard period is how you get through that. So someone who's got a weakened mindset, they're gonna look for outs as much as possible. So I do a pretty good screening process and start to understand like why someone is doing this race. Have they picked it because their friend's doing it or it's cool to do at this point in time? And then start to like challenge them by asking certain questions throughout the program around that. So when they get to a tough period in the race, like what's going to be the motivator for them going, I'm going to jump into the car because there's comfort there and I can get out, or I'm gonna get out out of that checkpoint and keep going. So, and that comes down to their support crew as well, because where most people go wrong is they'll have a family member who's a support crew who probably doesn't really understand it, and they're like, oh no, you've done well, like you don't have to push yourself, and then that person just easily takes that out period. That person is like hurting, so they're looking for an out, they're looking for comfort. If you have someone in there that's going to be like, you wanted to do this, you wanted to be here, and you got to get out and keep going, they're going to have much better success. And a big part of that was like when Nedd was doing his last challenge, his mum can switch between being like a mum and being like fucking a hard ass. And Nedd needs that at that point in time. And I don't think anyone else but Nedd's mum could like do this. And she's like, none of us wanted to be here. This is your decision and you wanted to do this. So you either pack up and we go to bed for a few hours, or you get off this chair and you get out there. And it's like that tough love where, he just goes, fuck, I do want to do this, and just got up and start running again. So it comes down to like, your support crew is really important in these longer stuff as well. Yeah.
They quoted you in Men's Health talking about having that coffee catch up and find out what their why is.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever I train someone for a marathon, it's just all about the tactics, like what exercises we're doing and what's the strength to cardio sort of ratio. Probably skipped over potentially one of the most important parts, like just trying to figure out what the anchor is or what's going to keep them going. Have you had people you've done the coffee with and you've just gone, this probably isn't the right fit?
Yeah, I've had a few. Yeah, I can, like, it's interesting now, like these big, like this is more so for these big, like crazy runs and like social media, and people just want to like look at Nedd and be like, I want that. But Nedd is such a unique person. He's just like, I don't think it was just the right time, right person that just captured a huge audience. And people trying to look up and want that kind of fame, where Nedd was actually started to do this stuff because he didn't want to be a Sparky anymore, and he wanted to raise a lot of money for homelessness, and that was his big motivator, like to keep going and going to Australia. Because if he failed, he was going back to being a Sparky, and he didn't want to do that anymore. So it was like a big motivator for him to keep pushing. And he was just lucky that he produces his own luck, but he could capture a huge audience, which kind of grew his, kind of snowballed his flame. Like Chris Turnbull ran across Australia earlier this year, or late last year, and he broke the record and no one even knows about it. So he was just like, had a good team, good media, and just kind of captured the audience, and yeah, was able to do that. So I try and find out why people are doing certain things, and you know, I've got Pete at the moment, he's day 6, he's running 1,400 kilometres across Thailand, so 60 Ks a day. And when I asked him, he was, so he's 57, and so his why is he led the Australian Federal Police forensic team in the Boxing Day tsunami. So he was over there leading a team to identify people who were dead. And off the back of that, he found a lot of kids that no longer had parents. And he started his own foundation, which has a number of houses across Thailand, which helps kids without parents to, have a house, go through schooling, and end up having a good life. So his why is to do this run is he wants to raise enough money to keep his foundation going and to help more kids. So when he's hurt, he's deep in the hurt locker, I can kind of massage that and start to go, okay, Pete, like, we know why we're out here. We know why we're doing this. It's only going to be, we've got 25 days. It's only going to be a short period of your life, a little bit of pain. It's going to have a huge outcome on people's lives, and start to really kind of massage that to help push them through. And, I make like little contracts with people that they write a contract to themselves, like, they're not going to give up all this sort of stuff, and when times get tough, they're going to lean on this. And we try and push boundaries on in that capacity as well.
It sounds like so much of it is psychology.
Oh yeah. Like we don't do that much running comparatively, like what people think. Like a big part of it is get the body as strong as possible so it can withhold, piece of 60K a day. 25 days. So how can we get the body as strong as possible? How can we make sure you're mentally as tough as possible? And we do a lot of simulations through that period about things to walk through, prepped.
Are you able to share a couple of the simulations you did for Nedd Brockman running 1,000 miles in 2 weeks?
Yeah, we did like 80K days, 3 days in a row, just on the track, just getting used to, okay, what's this going to look like? How's it going to feel? What do the lanes, how are we going to work out the lanes? Because just running in lane 1, you're going to have so much lateral force on a short period on the side. So how are we going to, how about we utilise the 8 lanes? Each lane's going to have a little bit more different force as you go out, and then let's turn it around and go the other way so we're with different lateral force. How's that feel? Test nutrition, okay, how's that going? We had a bit of a system where Nedd, so he did 2 laps in every lane and then changed into the next lane. So lap 1, he got a drink of some sort. Then lap 2, he got to progress to the next lane. In that next lane, drink was the kind of reward. Next lap, progress, drink, change lanes. Yeah, all the way up and then all the way back.
You're probably testing shoes and hat.
Yeah, shoes was actually interesting because we didn't test in the rain, and it fucking rained day 2, and it actually, like, the track was fucked from rain.
Did it with little Puma?
And the track also, like, we didn't take into too much consideration was that the ground is super grippy, and when it was raining, his feet were just blistering up so hard. And you end up getting like trench foot and just like the blisters with fuck. So the combination of like a cord with rain, a grippy track, and we just didn't simulate that. It was something we just didn't pick up. And you can't prepare for everything, I guess. And it actually was probably one of the biggest undoing of the tournament. The blisters. It was just something we really struggled to solve. We had to cut sections of the shoe out. We had to make orthotics and cut various sections out of the bottom of the orthotics, so the blister was kind of sitting on nothing. And we had one of the top dieters come out, kind of fix up his feet as much as possible. We ended up using like lamb's wool in between his toes to kind of some micro kind of absorption to kind of pull the water out of his feet, stop infection and stop rubbing and stuff like that. So yeah, biggest thing on these is you have to become a really good problem solver. Like if you cannot solve a problem, like problems are going to arise, and you have to consistently be how do I fix it, how do I overcome this. You know, the hardest thing was for us and Nedd during his last event was there was a few little issues that we just couldn't solve the problem. It's like I can run, my feet are just so fucked right now. We're just trying to like every lap, trying to like try something, test it, try and test it, and all of a sudden you'll get it. You know, fuck yeah, it's just running back again. And it's just like most people just give up because they're like, oh, my feet are fucked. But like you've got to get into that problem solving mindset of like, how do I overcome this? How am I gonna what can I do? What can I change? Let's cut the shoe, half the shoe off. Let's do this, let's do that, let's try that. Let's get lamb's wool, which is super random. Yeah, it's different taping, like nutrition, trying to work out nutritional on the way as well. Like we got to a point where just sugar was too high sugar, he just kept vomiting straight away, so we just reduced the sugar amount we were feeding him, and that helped. Pete's having the same problem at the moment too. He has like snakes, just starts vomiting. Anything like high sugar just starts vomiting, the body just doesn't want it. So, okay, we note all this down, what they're eating at what time. So I've got his support crew on a Google sheet writing out what he's having at what time, what his urine's like, what he's vomited. Okay, we've tracked this. Okay, he's vomited the last 2 times after this type of food. Let's fucking cut it out and try something different. Stop vomiting, keep going.
What kind of food is he eating?
Oh, stuff, we cut out olives, cut out like high GI food, like really like sugary food.
What do you have instead?
Yeah.
What do you have instead of like sweet food?
Yeah, so what he's having at the moment.
And this will obviously vary from person to person.
Oh, yeah.
What they can handle. It just seems like the runners obviously got to have a bunch of adaptability mindset. Like you almost anticipate you're going to run into problems with your feet or your back or your shoes or. But yeah, interesting. You become a MacGyver yourself as the coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sticking tape and shoes together.
Tape and shoes.
Yes, a question about the next one while you do that. What kind of like safety considerations does have in place? For example, if you have someone that's psychologically strong but the body is kind of shutting down them, but you don't want to stop, what do you think go ahead and just take a little bit of a break?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard conversation to have.
Almost like a boxing coach or someone.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, someone might have to say,
When the end's that tough guy, he'll do it or he'll die. And there was a few times in that race where we were like, holy shit, like, who can we stop doing this? And yeah, his mum makes that call. Yeah, so you have a leader in that group, and they're the person who makes that call. Yeah.
I remember when Matt came to work at Motorvale a covered in tats, bit of a party boy, had never really done fitness or whatever. We all drove up to Newcastle to do a triathlon up there. And these guys with like those, what do you call them, like wind resistant helmets on, and they've got all the gear and stuff. He finished in front of all of them. It was his first triathlon. I was like, you could actually have a big engine. Have you considered maybe doing some more events or something? It's just like, yeah, that was fun. Maybe. It's fascinating how you can just find that you're actually pretty good at stuff. Like Tiago's obviously got a good engine. Only a couple of years ago, carrying more weight. We've got people like John Crew at a later life just starting to get interested in running, and they're really good at it.
I can't find it on my phone.
That's right. If you find it later, just stick it through to me and I'll share it with the guys. But it's probably more important to just test yourself what you can consume and what doesn't upset your stomach.
I know like Noodles is great. He's having like whipped cream with on pikelets with jam. Like it's like diabetes basically. At night, like having pizza and stuff like that, we have like a shake made up for a high calorie shake. And then there's like a bit of fruit, super dupers are good. Banana bread. Just trying to find something that works. And generally when we're doing those multi-day, it needs like soft and that's kind of like in a moist kind of texture, because it needs like dry.
Eating, for example, sushi, you just can be one which is because you might want to wear one guy, is Miguel Arcenius. He was the championship in Europe, and that's Canadian, 140 kilos. He got the first place.
Eating sushi.
Eating sushi. I would much like. I would touch sushi.
In the Japanese races they have sushi at aid stations.
Yeah.
I mean, rice is going to be great. You can kind of like load it up with coconut oil or like that coconut rice is very high in calorie.
Less acidic and carb stuff.
And it's just finding what works for you. I know like some guys I race in China, they have like rice milk at aid stations. Like I can't think of anything worse, but they're just like chunking down rice milk. It's weird. Man, I'll be vomiting that. Like, okay. It's just trying to finding what works for you. Everyone's going to be different. And that's like why we have this spreadsheet is, we can start to track, what's working, what's not working, testing and training, all that sort of jazz. Yeah.
I got a quote in here from Men's Health. According to performance psychologist Mindy Simpson, the lure of ultramarathons can be found in their ability to tap into personal growth and personal satisfaction. On the positive side, ultramarathons can promote a sense of accomplishment, boost self-esteem, provide an outlet for stress. Time in nature, create a sense of belonging. The downside, the intense demands of the sport can lead to overtraining, burnout, injury and more stress, as some athletes may lose balance in their life. You were quoted as using visualization. You just spoke about simulation of conditions. What do you mean visualization? Is that what are you going to think about when it gets tough, or something different?
Yeah, like just kind of visualizing yourself running through that course that you're going to do. Visualization is a really powerful tool. It's starting to use positive mindset. I have like a 7-day thing I send to a client pre-race, so they can start mentally thinking about how their race wants to unfold, the type of person they want to be, and why they want to do this. And for a lot of my clients, they're like in their 40s, they're a dad, and they want to be an inspiration to their kids. So I'm trying to really kind of lean into that. Think about, like when you're out there and you're struggling, like what type of person do you want to be for your kids? Do you want to be the guy that gives up, it's getting tough, or do you want to be the guy that pushes on and shows your kid that when times get tough, you can push through that and teach them the story. So try and really kind of understand that, and use those visual keys and that kind of positivity kind of mindset to just kind of like push that needle a little bit into their running, because a lot of running is just mental. Like, anyone can run 100k tomorrow if they had to. Like, if your kids were like, if you had to do 100k tomorrow, because your kids, you know, they're going to get nice.
Analogies.
Yeah, you know, I spent a lot of time with Alex Volkanovski. He's like best UFC. Like, what he goes through pre-fight, like, I would hate to be in the ring. Like, he'd fucking die. And it's just, he can just get into that mindset where, like, you know, his kids are going to get raped, and his family's getting, like, all this sort of stuff. And you're like, holy shit. Like, but if you're put in that position, you'd find a way to do it, right? So it's just trying to, like, find that mindset. And then, like, obviously, someone's going to struggle through 100k if they have to do it tomorrow. My role is then to facilitate, like, how can we get there in the best possible shape? So it's just trying to, like, unblock a lot of people's kind of negative thoughts about, like, why they can't do it. Just trying to put in, you know, some strategies around, you know, you can do this if you want, if you have to. And we just got to find a solution to get you there.
What's different about the approach to multi-day events versus like a marathon, something like that?
Yeah, so multi-day is just trying to build resilience in the body. So doing a lot of double runs in a day, doing a lot of, like, sometimes triple 4 runs a day. So, for example, I've got a guy running next year, Melbourne to Adelaide. It's 1,200 k's, I think. And we're just starting, like, triple runs, 4 runs a day. So he'll run, like, on Saturday morning, stop, have some food, run again a few hours later, stop, have some food, run again a few hours later, stop, have some food, run again. Just he'll be running, you know, if they're doing 84 k's a day, it's kind of the best metric to do a day, double marathon. We're just trying to, like, get used to running for 12, 14 hours in a day. So just trying to kind of simulate that, running at varying times throughout the day. But again, strength training is the biggest thing they get them doing. It's just trying to get that resilience up the body and get nice and strong, and then start to layer on their volume.
Do you follow that? That's not ready for that.
Oh, Russ, yeah. He's nuts. Yeah.
What you say, like 6 months, year long.
Yeah. His next one looks psycho. I don't even think he'll be on. Like, I don't know. You'll probably know it, but yeah.
A few, anyone in your neighborhood approach would say, like,
I imagine Ned's already thinking of something.
Yeah. Well, like, Sean Bell just ran around Australia. That was a huge feat. And then he went and did Tasmania, the length of Tasmania after that. So, but I've got a guy at the moment, coach, who's going to run one night to Perth and then back to Bondi.
What did you say? 3,000 each way or something? 3.5 kilometers each way. So you run through the desert?
Yeah. Through the, yeah.
It just seems like you're trying to dive through.
Yeah. But you pick the time of year, and then, like, the big part of this is, like, how deep we go in this. Okay, we need to start looking at weather patterns, El Nino, what way the wind's going. Is it going to be humid? Like, this year's a very humid year. How's the weather patterns looking? When we plan to actually do this type of event. And then obviously you can't control the weather, so there's going to be elements like we go, fuck, we're just going to go this year. So we start to, like, have that. When Nedd did his run of Australia, we just had headwinds for a big part of it. Next year, no wind. So it's like, just trying to work out those finer details. But sometimes you just got to shoot for it and go, okay, this is what we're doing it. And
just if you are in a trial, long runner, they've signed for a marathon in July, Gold Coast.
Yep.
What would be the bare minimum they would need to do to keep that marathon? Like, a lot of the training site would be, like I know you said, 2 strength sessions would be
Yeah. So you break it down into like macro cycles, so 4-week blocks, basically. You work backwards an easy week in between each one to give you a bit of a break, and anywhere from like 3 to 4 runs a week, and you start to progressively build that long run up. Get the key. So depending on like how well they want to do it, but yeah, most people can get away with like 3 to 4 runs a week, one easy, one hard, one long, 2 strength sessions. They're going to be in a good position. If they want to add another run in, they can do like another easy run or another moderate style run.
What about the total time, like 60 weeks, probably 10?
Yeah, so like the best time I believe is like 17 weeks where you can get like a good kind of knockout. So Gold Coast is starting in February the 10th, I think, is around 17 weeks, thereabouts. I usually work like 17 week back start date and do some marketing pre that, so yeah.
What's the, sorry, this is Jan Top now, just
Yeah.
much last time, right? What's the furthest you teach someone?
In the long run? Yeah, so it depends again on the person. Yeah, furthest for some of my guys like 38k in their long run. Some I do like down like even 28k in the long run. I had a guy come to me. He's like, fuck, he was actually really annoying, but he's like, I want to do this marathon, and he kept hassling and hassling. Okay, we had 8 weeks. I'm like, I can't do much in 8 weeks. And then he came to me and he had a stress reaction in his hip. So he was fucking injured. I'm like, okay. So then we did like 4 weeks of just cycling and strength work. And then we did 4 weeks of building his running up. And I think his longest run was like 26k. And we did the marathon. And he actually did a PB in it. So that was like 3 hours 12, I think, and his previous was like 3 hours 20. So
that cross training can be useful
oh
if someone's
yeah,
a bit broken.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, cross training's like
More so bike than swim or something like that.
like yeah. So like someone that might be better off, like who doesn't have like a good strong body, is doing like, you know, we got to do 3 runs, 1 kind of cycle, and 2 strength sessions, and they're going to get good results. Yeah.
I have one question. For example, I'm doing 1 prologue to 1 marathon. This is an example. 20 marathon is 1 month. When do you reckon should be my last long run?
Oh yeah, 21 days out.
21 days?
3 weeks out, yeah, usually. Yeah.
What did we do last time? 3 weeks out, longest run. I think we were 2 weeks last year, weren't we? Or this year?
Yeah, it can be like, depending on the person as well and how quickly they can recover. But generally, like, I might do a longest run 21 days out, and then we do a hard kind of session, a bit shorter, like 26k, 14 days out, and then we do our last hard run 10 days out, and then it starts to take down, yeah.
Start dropping down.
You start dropping down, yeah. But most like general pole, I like to give them a little bit more, so 21 days out. But most people can do 14 days. Yeah. But just again, depends on the person. Like some people, like I don't actually even taper because they feel worse in the taper, and yeah, so it's just kind of finding that out as well. Like I taper them, but not like a full taper like some people need. So I freshen them up as much as possible. Yeah.
So you've done a 2:48 marathon, which
Actually, no,
feels...
it's 2:35.
Have you?
Yeah.
I didn't find that out.
Yeah.
I didn't find that on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
2:35.
Yeah.
So what about these guys? So forget about general population and the guys that we train, but what about them? They're fit, they've done some running, they're going in, they're maybe trying to do their fastest ever run. Any recommendations you'd give if they're just going for time, like a PB?
Yeah, you want to do some marathon pace running. So that can be during a moderate session during the week, or it might be through your long run as well. So you might do within your long run something like build up over a couple of weeks doing, 6x4k, 4x6k, 2x8k, like 2x7k or something like that as you get closer to the race during your long runs. Just running at race pace, actually getting used to running at race pace, getting used to fueling at race pace, and you might have a 1K kind of recovery in between. It's a good opportunity to start wearing your race shoes, getting used to the body used to, probably running in carbon plate shoes as well.
Do you run on your own or with someone?
Depends. I like to run like marathon training with a group because it's just a really good group. But I also love running on my own because it's like good thinking time. I spend a lot of time with people, so it's also a good time to like chill out, put some music in, and just kind of be by myself. Yeah, recharge the batteries.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you typically mostly training slow, you have stuff like.
Most slow running?
But would most people you be maybe a little slow at these days?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. But you still need to get the body cramped all that. Yeah, because most cramping comes from exercise-induced cramping. Like, unless it's hot like today, you're not really sweating enough to cause an electrolyte imbalance in that short period of time. Most of the time, it's you haven't trained the intensity, you haven't done the volume, or specific to that kind of course, which Sydney might be hills, running at that intensity, or you haven't done volume. So yeah.
I'm conscious of Matt's time. Can we try and round it up? Last few questions.
For example, about the football and the intensity of the sessions, do you use a specific percentage of the exercise in zone 2 and zone 3, zone 4, or what is the percentage of the intensity?
Yeah, again, it comes down to the person as well and how much volume they're doing. But general rule is like 70% easy, 20% moderate, and then 10% like hard. Yeah. So you might do that hard might be 20 minutes of like actual hard work within a whole week. So like for example, like the motor far length is 24 minutes, but you break that down into the actual like periods that you're running hard. The rest periods, and it's only like 14 minutes, but thereabouts you're actually running hard. So that hard, that should be like hard.
Which is easier to digest mentally, like to put it into your week. Like it's not heaps of it.
It's not much at all.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it, if you're doing like, say 6 by, or say 5 by 4 minutes, what's that? 20 minutes of hard, good maths there.
Low blood sugar.
Top up. 20 minutes of actual hard work in a week, it's not that much. It's like proper hard work. Yeah.
Final question? Anyone?
If you only do one pre-run stretch for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's such a good question. You should have a podcast.
I think leg swings are probably like the best.
Yeah.
Leg swings.
Leg swings.
I thought it was just for cricketers.
Pre-run, I was like, what will I do? How long will I do it for?
Yeah.
I just fucking get sick of it.
Just like, because you're going to get like hamstrings, your hips, you're going to get dynamic movement just across the front of the side of the body and then forward and back. Wow. I think that would probably be like the best, just doing it. Yeah. Or, pneumatic, like mini band walks. Yeah, just get, most people are really weak in their glute medius, they get ITB issues. So just try to get that glute med, that TFL nice and strong. So that's probably the next one I'd go.
Final question. You've survived a couple of team Christmas parties before. You've done a few big ones. We're about to do our one tomorrow. Any tips for the rookies in the team?
We have done a few big ones.
We have done a few.
Yeah.
I remember we had the same talk about what kind of man do you
I think it went I think like you actually. Electrolytes.
He's so focused. Maybe bring your backpack with your drinking thing. So good, boys. Come and shake hands. Say thanks to Matt. So good, thanks, buddy.